Yeah. State of Mental Mondays. This is your host for this Monday in particular, Abundance Child. Welcome to the Abundance Network. This is a network where we are not compromising the message, our intent, our delivery. We're dealing with our supreme intelligence, our intellect, especially on this day, Monday. And we're doing that so that we can cut down the cost of our marketing and advertisements and things like that, because we cut out the competition, because we are a cooperative. So once again, thank you for tuning in. This is the Abundance Network. It's 7 minutes after the hour. We're going to be building later on with the intellect Nuben Menkaraj. So he, this is going to be his first time. He's definitely a virgin to the Abundance Network, and he hasn't even been on the Abundance Child Live show. But either way, he's going to be building about personal philosophy, doctrine, religion, which actually everything he's building on has nothing to do with any religion or anything like that. I just had to put those words out there. And I just want you to know that everybody's been talking about we need to have some common sense type of conversation on these airwaves. Everybody needs to have their feet planted on the ground at this point. We basically don't even have legs to carry ourselves. This is just how it is. But yet we talk about metaphysics. We romanticize everything as far as more science is concerned and things like that. So tonight we're going to clear up some of these things with the brother that I'm about to bring on the air. But I just want to make it clear before I do that nobody's trying to actually get anybody to join any type of new religion or anything like that. Like, everything this brother is saying, based upon my research and observation, is based on fact and fact alone, and that basically he wants people to change their way of thinking, which is our right. Like, this is not something that we should be fighting against or anything like that. So please do not take anything that this man has to say, for face value. Go do your own research. But at the end of the day, all of the work are going to be done regardless of the fact if you want to listen to what he has to say or not. So anyway, brother Nuben, you're on the air. Peace.
Peace. How you doing, sister?
I'm just right.
Okay.
So welcome to the Abundance Network.
Thank you. Right. Thank you for having me. Thank you very much. I appreciate you giving me your time.
Yeah, this is all about you, because this Mondays are all going to be about the state of mental. So with that said, can you please tell people exactly what the state of mental is?
Okay. We're going through many evolutions in our beginnings. The state of mental is first and foremost a spiritual intelligence organization. And what I mean by that is, we're speaking on things as far as future intellect, future thought. And we're coining a phrase, future thought, because our focus is totally on the future, the new millennium and beyond. We're not interested in past doctrines or religions or things of that nature, nor are we linked to any of these past movements, that came before the new millennium. So just our total focus within the state of mental is on building the mental, building a stronger mental, and focusing and creating a new future for ourselves in the world to come.
So you're really talking about some type of having a pure state of mind, or pure state of mental, as far as communications are concerned.
Yes, as far as communication, as far as thought and everything, because as I was explaining to a few of my students that we're dealing with a new law within the state of mental, which is called the law of subtraction, where we subtract in everything that, we had in our mindset, the things that have held us back, because we said that the real problem with our people is that, this generation from 40 years old and down, who was supposed to be actually the new leaders of the new school, we're supposed to actually be moving forward and taking the older generation with us. We're supposed to be leading the future and leading the children that are coming behind us. It's our turn to step up, but we can't do that because we have so much baggage. We have in way of old knowledge and things like that, old doctrines and things of that nature. We have so much on our backs, So, we have to let a lot of that go. So that's why we refer to it as the law of subtraction, because we're subtracting a lot of our old ways of thinking and, just cutting it loose and moving forward. We're dropping our baggage.
You're saying the laws of subtraction. However, the whole world listens to people rant and rave about the laws of attraction.
Mm-hmm.
What does the state of mental think about the laws of attraction?
Well, this is why we had to be mindful in the law of attraction, because people talk about the law of attraction so much, but, if you have something, if you previously had a lot of things that was negative, in your life that you attracted to you, you could be attracting more negative things to you, because everything we've encountered in this, in our existence here in this society has been for the most part negative. Our stay here and everything, so we could be attracting more things, though it may seem positive. We could be attracting more things to us that are negative because we're starting out with a negative background here. So the best way to know if you are attracting anything that's pure, that's going to benefit you, is to do away with all of the things you had prior to that and start all over. Start with a clean slate. Start blank. There was a reason why our ancestors in ancient Egypt, they had went into shaving their heads, and when they wanted to get into that whole renewal of themselves and their spirit, they would shave their heads bald and clean the body hair off and dress in white, because that signified starting fresh, starting new. So our people need to go through that mental and physical cleansing of themselves, doctrine-wise, and all the things that have caused us dissension amongst each other, because no matter how much we've ingested in way of different philosophies and ideologies, none of them have led us to where we're supposed to be, and that is at the forefront of the world, at the forefront of society.
Some of the things that have led us to, you alluded to many different things without actually going into it. I want you to elaborate more on things that are practical and logical that we can really understand, that we can relate to, that have us, or that are blocking us from being at that state which you're talking about, which is being an advanced society that we already were.
Okay. Well, for one thing, we have too many different ideologies, and I had previously said that all of the ideologies, why they haven't worked for us, or they've only worked for us up to a certain point, is because they've come from other people. They've come from white people, majority of it, East Indians, Arabs, and, people of other races. We've adopted their philosophies and their ideologies, and they haven't worked for us. They haven't taken us to where we had to go. And it has caused us dissension amongst each other, because we argue in the name of other people's philosophies and ideologies, be it Christianity, Islam, Judaism, I don't care what it is.
All right, religion. So you're saying religion is one of them. Yeah, and the other philosophies out here and ideologies that we're following, metaphysics, everything else, all of these things are the ideologies of other people. They are not us, and how we know it is because it's not taking us to where we have to go. There is one supreme knowledge that will take us, if we are willing to accept it, to where we have to go. And dare I say, it's intellect, which I'll, explain more on. Yeah, I would like you to do that. I'm gonna actually start going from in a question and answer type of rhythm, if that's all right with you.
That's fine.
All right. So you're saying that these religions, a lot of them now, because people want to stay away from religion, a lot of people understand that religion has put us in a box. We'll go with that. And so now we have to embrace that your religion is characterized by something that you're doing every day. Your religion might be the type of food that you eat or whatever. Basically, you're saying that any of these religions, ideologies, philosophies are not meant for people that are melanated, blacks, Moors, to follow. Why? Why are you saying that? I'm just saying, just be a little bit more specific.
Because I look at the state of our people today, that tells us everything. The fact that we have nothing, we cannot sustain an economic structure or educational structure for ourselves, and that we still have to depend on other people to do that. Now, I don't deal with, with all of these philosophies and ideologies and beliefs, and everyone standing up and trying to convey that message of that no one is actually building standing structure or standing movement of independent for our people to follow. So that speaks volumes about whatever you believe or whatever you claim to believe that's supposed to be right for our people. Because if you can't construct or resurrect something that's going to take our people into the future, that's going to give our people some sort of foundation or structure to put us back to where we belong, then it doesn't matter what you're talking about. It becomes just words now. So that's why I make that statement, because anything that's not going to produce, because we're known as builders and society builders and things like that, and we're not building societies with any of these doctrines and beliefs. So they become obsolete.
That is a.
Hello.
Hear me?
I'm sorry. Come back.
All right. I was wondering if you can hear me. I said because there's no society, whether every society on this planet has included.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
All right, so y'all couldn't hear anything, huh?
Okay, we back.
Yeah, we back. For some reason, y'all couldn't hear anything. But I'm going to repeat everything that I said. I said we're back here on the Abundance Network. I am hosting this show as a grand opening for the State of Mental Mondays. Last night we had the Society of Cosmic Physics. On Wednesday nights we will have Philly Word Live. On Thursdays we will have Abundance Child Live. On Friday we'll have another segment that's going to be airing for the youth. Saturdays are open right now, and Sundays, again, we have the Society of Cosmic Physics. So this is the Abundance Network. The Abundance Network is dealing with common sense reality. The Abundance Child Network are a group of people who are a co-op who have decided that we can share the same network to get the information out to cut down costs, and so that the focus is on the information that we're trying to bring. This is about free economy. Abundance Network is a living free economy planet. Real talk. So everybody that's on this network is going in the same direction, which is we are tired of dealing with these artificial identities. Brother Melanin Sutek says in the chat room, Black, African, more power. He's God, no less, because he's limitless. Exactly. That's what we're building on tonight. So, Brother Nubin, from your book, The 21 Logical Statements on Why Religion Was Not Meant for Black People to Follow, the question was, why do you say that religion was not meant for Black people to follow? I'm going to read the first part of your answer because I think you lay it out so well and it's very commonsensical and the people should hear it. Your answer, the first part of your answer is, the reason why I make this statement is because Black people already know right from wrong instinctively based on their own distinct and common sense form of natural intelligence. However, that natural intelligence can only be found now within a small remnant of our people today. This is because many of them have chosen to ignore that natural instinct by trying to emulate the artificial mentality of other races, of people within society. The true purpose for the foundation of religion was to give guidance and to set boundaries over people who do not have that base instinct or common sense form of natural intelligence when it comes to right and wrong. This description applies to the mass majority of the human race today, who are all under some form of religious belief. Let's build on that. Are you still with me? All right, so we might still be having technical difficulties here. So I'm going to just keep going on with the God hop until we can get, the brother back on the air. And tonight we're going with Sister Sarak. She got a new album dropping called Ether Wars. And on the Abundance Network, we definitely big up the God Hop Confederation and all of the entities that are affiliated with God Hop, based off of the artists, the MCs, the radio hosts, the producers, the managers, the DJs that are doing things in alignment with what the God Hop Confederation is about. All right, so with that being said, here is Nebula Soldier, Sister Sarah. All right, we're back. We're all superstars, all right? We're building on the Abundance Network right now. This is the State of Mental Mondays. We have Brother Nubin Minkaraz on the air. So, Peace. Are you on the air? Peace. All right. Do I have a question or a comment, caller ending in 2435? How about caller ending in 5153? Do you have a question or a comment?
Yes. I just want to say, first of all, peace, everybody. My name is God Allah. I just wanted to make a statement on, the whole religion thing. I also disagree with religion, and I do believe that religion is taught to our people to keep our people humble, to keep our people, socially divided with other communities where we have brothers and sisters. I do supreme mathematics, and I just feel like, what the black man, woman needs to really know and understand is that, that's their really supreme culture right there, because math and numbers is what reveals everything to us. It just might take for us to just mentally weigh things out. Like, we have to weigh these numbers out. I feel like religion is only teaching us to just believe in one person, to believe that one particular man can do something that everyone else can't do, and that we need to look and believe in that one person and not ourselves. So, I was kind of catching what the brother was saying, but I couldn't really get too much because the service was going in and out. But I just kind of wanted to make that comment and kind of put that out there.
Excellent, excellent. I'm with you on that, because mathematics basically shows and proves how the universe unfolds and how we actually exist today. There is no emotion in mathematics. 1 + 2 = 3. That's basic. I mean, that's very, very basic. Everything can be explained in that way. What say you, Brother Nubin?
Well, I'm glad the brother sees where I'm going with religion and things like that, but it's more than that. It's deeply ingrained in our people, the belief structure, even though we don't like to say it, even in our terminology and the things that we take and use every day, our way of thinking. We are governed by religion so deep to not structure ourselves behind one way of thinking. That's what religion has done. It has made gods or separate gods out of all of us. And when you have that power being separated, those individual mindsets are separated and out goes the collective, and in comes the separation. Like I heard the brother was saying about, we all gods and, we could all do for ourselves, but the fact of the matter is we not. There has to be somebody that starts the ball, takes the ball and runs with it. That's always how it works. There's always structure here, and our people, through religion, have gotten away from structure. Our people have gotten away from order. The greatest order to ever exist here that put the black man in tune with Islam and Allah and things like that was the Nation of Islam under the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That involved a structure. That involved a setup and a principle and things that of structure. And that's something our people want to run away from, because we hate to cooperate and work collectively with one another and put one thing first. We all want to have different philosophies and ideologies as the bread, and that's by way of religion. And we do that all the time. And I heard it in with the brother. In every, ideology that we come in the name of, we do that. We all want to have our own outlook on things, and that's fine. But if it's not going to be about the cohesiveness and the collectiveness of our people as one thing, one nation, one family, then it's still religion all over again. It's still separation.
I don't know if I'm still on right now, but I'd like to add on.
You are.
I just want to kind of give the brother a better understanding on why the supreme mathematics is so important. It's because, like you even said, math reveals everything. And if what we're looking for in this life is truth, the one direction in which all people should be in to discover that truth and born that truth, then mathematics is important, because, like she said, 1 + 1 = 2. If we all first apply mathematics to our thoughts and our ideas, then we'll see in what direction we need to go in. We'll see whether or not something needs to be there or whether it needs to not be there. So I think for every man and for every woman and for every black child, mathematics is their foundation, because as long as there's no numbers and there's no balance and there's nobody weighing the scales, then nobody's going to be able to distinguish or determine what is right and what's wrong. That's why the math is so important, because everything is numbers. Just like everything that a person says to you is sound. It produces sound waves. And sound waves can sometimes trigger feelings, thoughts, and ideas. So when you listen to a person and you watch them and you see their ways and actions and you're listening to them, everything that's coming from one person to you should accumulate as a number to you. And it's your job as a wise black man or woman to weigh that out on the scale. Now, if you're not going to look at things as numbers, and you're not going to allow people to amount to something, because everything amounts to something. A lie amounts to what it is. The truth amounts to what it is. It's all measurement. It's all weight. But it all depends on how it weighs on you, how balanced your scale is. And sometimes that takes for your train of thought or for your capability to be able to be receptive.
Brother, what's your name again?
My name is God Allah, but on my Facebook, it's ᴍᴜ.God.
All right, good. I just wanted to remember how to address you. So, God Allah, do you, and this is also for you, Brother Nuben, I just want to put this out there, and then y'all can take it from here, because it would spark in my head, because I agree with both of you. So is math first, or is the intelligence, or our intelligence that we have within first?
The intelligence produced. Okay. Well, can I answer?
Of course you can answer.
Okay. All right.
I was going to add on that, to me, intelligence and mathematics is kind of like knowledge and understanding. It's kind of like one of the same, because
See,
mathematics.
Excuse me? I just want to stop there. I want to interject right there. I want to stop you there, and I want to interject right there. You said, so math and intelligence is likened to knowledge and understanding. Is that what you said?
Yes.
All right, so knowledge and understanding, this is a build. Now, this is really a build, because this is great. I'm loving this. So knowledge, are you saying knowledge is understanding? Are they two separate degrees, or what? Because as my understanding is that you can't have anything without knowledge. Knowledge is the foundation of all things in existence.
True indeed. Now, again, let's see. The reason why I say it's like one of the same is because, from my aspect, like a man and a child. A man is the knowledge, because he's the foundation. The child is the understanding, because that's what's brought forth, right? But if you think about it, the man and the child are still one of the same, because within that child you still see that man. Just like my knowledge, right, or my understanding of what I have of something will be knowledge to you when you're looking at it. See, I can learn something, and I can do the knowledge to something and acquire the understanding. So when I deal with equality and give it to you, it's not an understanding to you just yet. My understanding is only knowledge to you. And once you do the knowledge to my understanding, then my understanding will become understood or overstood to you. That's why I say it's kind of the same, but it just really takes a receptive mind, a well-balanced mind, and a universal thinker to kind of break down these, statements, because a lot of things can be taken in more than just one direction.
Actually, you can have an understanding, or you can have the understanding. What we're trying to get to is the understanding. At the end of the day, knowledge is the principle and the foundation of all things, which is not the exact same as understanding. You can't have understanding without knowledge in any way, shape, or form. So therefore, knowledge is actually likened to intelligence, and mathematics is more likened to the wisdom. It's the reflection of the intelligence. It's not the understanding, because once you have knowledge, you will have, or once you have intelligence, you can arrive to the mathematics, which will give you understanding of nature, which is cultural freedom, which is the law. And then from that on, we can move forward through the rest of the degrees. So that's my piece. Brother Nubin, I wanted you to actually tune in. Hold tight. Let Nubin have a chance.
All right.
I'm gonna say this. I am very nuts and bolts about everything that and I look at everything as a structure. Everything has to be structured a certain way. Any knowledge that does not produce a structure, to me serves no purpose. If it's not going to produce a structure, if it's not going to produce a society, if it's not going to produce anything that's going to be independent in our evolution, or set up anything to move our people forward by way of real higher knowledge, then it's, everything, like I said, to me, it becomes just talk. I'm, me to be, from talking to me, me to be a very nuts and bolts type of person. If it don't make sense, it don't add up to nothing. It's not going to make sense. If it doesn't build anything physically, whatever you putting out of your mouth or what's coming through your mind and coming out of your mouth has to add up to something physically. Has to build. There has to be something that we can move on. Like I told you, independent structure, educational things like that, financial structure. This has to be put down. I don't get into all of the the jargon. If it's not going to do that.
Understanding. So I understand what you're saying, but I still want the answer to the question, which I put on the table, and you said what?
Well, I'm sorry. Could you please repeat? I'm sorry, please.
No, it's all right. Knowledge. I said, which is first, intelligence or mathematics?
Intelligence is always first because the intelligence produced the mathematics.
All right. So. And then we're gonna move on. Go ahead, add on to that, and then we're gonna move forward.
Okay. I understand. This is the thing, right? I understand what you're saying and what the brother is saying. That's why I said I want to add on to that, because you can add on to knowledge. Because here's the thing: if you know anything about the supreme mathematics and the supreme alphabet, you understand it just like be or born. See, knowledge is what be. The understanding is what borns what be. Like, you can say I'm intelligent, you can say what knowledge is, but it's the understanding that's going to show and prove the knowledge. Knowledge doesn't exist without understanding. You understand me? Because
is that a fact? Is that a fact? You might want to do the knowledge on that.
But that's a fact, though, because knowledge is just the information that's out there and what you see and what you acquire. But it's the understanding that shows and proves that knowledge. Like, you can sit here and say that you're intelligent and that you have knowledge, but it's the understanding that you bring forth that's going to show and prove whether you possess that knowledge or not. And see, mathematics produce intelligence, because dealing with the mathematics is what widens a person's mentality to be able to be intelligent. Just like intelligence should improve mathematics. That's how I said it's one of the same. I'm not saying that it's different from the brother is saying. I'm just adding on. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like language to me. I don't mind jogging because it's all conditions. And anything that you can acquire that can condition your mind is only going to help you further to be able to understand everything around you, every walk of life. You know what I'm saying? Because a real teacher is going to have to be in tune with everybody that's dealing with different things outside of what they're dealing with. It's like a teacher in the classroom. She might have 10 students. Each one of these 10 students have a different way to their intellect or to their mind or to the womb. And you as a teacher, you got to be universal. You can't just be like, well, you know what, I'm not going to jog, man, I'm not with all that. Some brothers and sisters, you make them get straight to the point. Some brothers and sisters, you have to be willing to jog with them. And that's part of your responsibility as a social equality, man, because equality is to be equal in everything. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes that takes trials and tribulations. That's that brother that you want in that trial and tribulation. It's somebody that, when necessary, is willing to jog with you or jog towards you. And then there's situations where you might have to jog from that person. But you got to always be mentally prepared to get down and, do whatever's necessary. So where I stand at, when I say knowledge and wisdom, so knowledge and understanding is one and the same. A man and his child is one and the same. Just like within me, I'm a man, but I have a seed in me. Within me, it's man and woman because I can produce sons and daughters. Within an apple is the same seed. You know what I'm saying? An apple is the knowledge, right? So the seed is the knowledge because the seed brings forth that apple. Just like the apple can be the same thing. It's depending on how you look at it. It's like saying what's pain and what's pleasure. I feel like a person can say anything of their mouth as long as you can show and prove it. Some brothers just have to learn to be more willing to expand their train of thought. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody needs to learn to adapt to your environment. The environment that I'm in is what I brought to you, is that knowledge and understanding is one of the same. But some brothers look at me and be like, I'm not going into the hood because I can't relate. All numbers are related to the next because each number is used to bring forth the next number. You know what I'm saying? So it's all a relation to me. I understand what the brother is saying. I did the knowledge of what he's saying. I agree. But it's deeper than that. And the deepest that you can go in life is to understand life, to be open-minded. Because everybody's an individual. So that means everybody's going to have different thought patterns. Everybody's going to feel a certain type of way that's going to be different from the next. And just like those related numbers, you're going to have to be able to use your equality to bond with the next number to bring forth a greater number. That's what 1 and 2 do. It brings forth something greater than themselves. It brings
God
forth
Allah.
True.
God Allah. Give thanks. Give thanks. I appreciate love, all your add-on and everything, but it's 47 minutes after the hour, so thank you for building with the Abundance Network, and make sure you stay building. We have a multitude of shows that we have every day of the week now, and I think this might be one that, you might want to come on the regular so we can really build, because this is, like you said, this is where we're going to be able to get everything out. All right, so peace.
And I do appreciate you allowing me to come on and add on. And peace to the brother as well.
All right, peace, brother.
Peace.
All right.
All right. So, yeah. Honors for that. He added in. This is actually how we're going to be able to build, and you're really going to be able to expand on where you're going using direct examples. And just from that build, can you still hear me, Nuben?
Uh-huh.
Just from that build, my understanding and how I would like to tie the mathematics into the conversation so that we can move forward is that knowledge is the awareness. And the mind is the tool to acquire the knowledge, which is where I would like to build from that point. Because instead of getting, all the way out there and trying to actually break down everything, because that takes years and years and years and years and years and years and years based off of the paradigm that we're living in right now with all of the stuff that we have dumped in that you talked about that needs to be subtracted. People really can't get to the logic. They can't really get to the point to really understand, that we're supposed to be in alignment with one supreme faculty, if anything. So where I'm going to leave it off is knowledge is the awareness and mind is the tool to acquire the knowledge. All right?
Well, we in the state of Mentel, we deal with direct current or direct power. We not going all around, and we not taking our people all the way around the block. We going straight ahead because this is a generation that doesn't want to hear all that. They want to hear directly what it is. A lot of times what our people do is they want to dance around because they want to sound heavy and deep instead of getting to the point. And the point is we have nothing. And any language, we still under the beast. We still sitting up here, depending on him. Everything sounds good and all of that, but for the person who seems to master us, the person who that we seem to be following their laws and their rules and their statutes and things like that, we seem to be within their structure and their social structure of people who believe in one thing and one thing only. You understand? And within this Judeo-Christian society, which we are under, you can have all the different philosophies you want to until someone is ready to come up and put action to words. I like I said, I don't really, I tend to shut my hearing off to anything beyond that.
Well, what he was kind of saying also, too, was that when you want to teach, now, I guess, everybody has the right to have their own students and things like that, but when you're dealing with these global networks and whatnot, you might actually have to, you might not be able to just shut down like that. And if that's something that you admit that you are doing, just be mindful of who might be willing to listen, because a lot of people in this day and time really are trying to move forward. We just haven't been taught how to do so. So you're going to actually have to teach people how to subtract, and it's just going to have to be a certain type of way so when people come on these calls and whatnot, they know, get to the point. You only have, if you can't do it within 1 minute, then you're not being successful at doing it, and then we have to keep moving forward. So that's just my suggestion.
Well, that's exactly. So, a lot of our people are not willing to say, look, all of this knowledge that I'm supposed to have is not really doing nothing in my life, but made me just, fill my head up with a lot of talk and a lot of jargon. And at the end of the day, it has not produced a nation or a solid foundation for our people, nor can it. So, that needs to be subtracted. Anything that's not going to produce a solid foundation for our people, a solid educational, a solid mental, and put us where we belong or back in power of where we belong, because the world is waiting on us. The world is waiting on us. The world is out of order because we are. The world is out of order because we're out of order.
Mm-hmm.
And once we get back in order, then the world will stay in its natural order. How can the world be in its natural order if natural people are not in power and not in order? And a knowledge has to put them back. So since all the knowledge and all of this philosophies and things have been presented, that, prior to the new millennium, all this knowledge, all of the talk and the math and all this other stuff and the philosophy and all that been presented prior to the new millennium, because that's when all these things came, prior to the new millennium, and they have not put us back to where we're supposed to be, the natural people back to where they're supposed to be, then like I said, it's time for subtraction.
First of all, subtraction is a part of mathematics. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I really did. Mathematics is a part of subtraction. So at the end of the day, I'm still going to stand strong and say I agree with the brother in the sense that, kind of math is the order of the day. Also, just because you had humans that created some type of philosophy or religion around the mathematics does not mean that mathematics is not the still order of the day. What I'm saying
I definitely didn't say mathematics is not necessary, but when you're not able to add up, when it's not able to add up or sum up to something, in the physical realm.
Your math is wrong. Exactly. I get you.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
I get you. So let's get to the point. The math is wrong. So we all agree that math is definitely necessary. It's definitely key in our visualization and in us being able to use our mind to get to the awareness, or get to knowledge, which is the awareness. And to acquire that, we have to be able to have our mind clear and so that we can start being in tune or in touch. And this is what as far as what I know from building with you and from finally finishing the first book that you gave me. You're really dealing with an advanced state of pure mind communication and the existence, and you put eternal existence of linear thought. I'm reading this from page 31. I'm really jumping around to your question number 9. But I'm going to go back before we start dealing with what is mentality and mentality. Let me go back because we were only on question 1. And for everybody, just to keep you up to speed, I'm dealing with the 21 logical statements on why religion was not meant for black people to follow. This brother is so commonsensical, which means that his common sense is what other people might consider to be divine reason, when in fact it's just common sense. This is what's to be the basic of what we have. Let me go back to question number 1. I think we answered question number 1. Question number 2. So why did black people start to follow religion if they had this natural intelligence? So if we have all this stuff built in, why in the world are we having the problems that we're having right now? If we have such a supreme intelligence that Bobby Hemmett, Bill Valentine, everybody's breaking down that we are the supreme team, the supreme beings, metaphysics this, metaphysics that, just levitate yourself off of the planet, you know?
Uh-huh. Well, you're asking me that now. I'm going to answer the question, and that is that, you know, a lot of these philosophies and things that people are coming in the name of, like I said in the book before, can be traced back to a white origin. Metaphysics is traced back to the Greeks. Okay? Now, they can say, a lot of our people who come in the name of metaphysics, they can say that it came from the Egyptians under something called Ma'at, which is not true, because metaphysics is just first philosophy. That's what the Greeks referred to it as. It was their idea or their take on what they thought they were seeing amongst our people when they traveled to ancient Kemet or Egypt or Tamaray or whatever you want to refer to it as. And the ancient Kemites were known to be at least the pharaohs and the priests of Amun and the high priest. They were known to be secretive in the higher knowledge that they acquired. So if the Greeks were to come to ancient Kemet, they would be studying amongst the regular people. They wouldn't be studying this in the higher orders of things. So therefore, they would get what would be now known as peon knowledge. You know, things that were just decimated and given out to the masses. So you take that, and then they take what they get and they bring it back to Greece, and then they distill it or water it down even more. And that is what you have now, which is metaphysics. So if metaphysics is dealing, like I said, with a philosophy of these people, and we are trying to base a foundation on the philosophy of the white man who is artificial, just as the human race is, then nothing will be standing or lasting for our people who try to base a foundation in any of these things.
All right. So if religion was put here to organize the people and give them some type of moral code and some type of moral barometer, how come religion is not teaching the people to be moral and to do right?
Because our people, it actually has a reverse effect on our people, because they were exposed to what's something known as sin within religion. They were, when you have people who already have a moral compass, when they have a moral standpoint, a natural built-in sense of right and wrong, when you introduce something to tell them, give them rules, you're then introducing to them, which is so-called right things to them, you're also introducing wrong things to them. Like they got exposed to something called sin. They learned about bestiality. They learned about homosexuality. They learned about a murder. They learned about all of these things, from these foreign people who came amongst them. So now, as they're mixing in with these people, as they're around these people, they're starting to adopt the ways of these people. It's like today, when you see the black man, he wants to be a gangster. Like the Italians, like the white man. And the Jews, he wants to be a gangster. He calls himself Luciano or Lucchese or whatever. He wants to be a drug dealer, to be a thug. He wants to be a gangbanger. He wants the black woman, she wants to be Sex in the City like the white woman, Carrie Bradshaw. So you got all these people that come around our people and bring their filth or their sin, the thing we constituted as being wrong, and then eventually by us being amongst these people, we start to be infected and mentally and spiritually by these people. And that's what happened in religion with our people. You have people who follow in the Catholic Church. Black people still follow in the Catholic Church, and probably 9 times out of 10, if the children of our people were also boys, or black boys were also boys, they probably got molested too. So it's the filth that we ingest within religion.
All right. It's not just ingested either. It's the fact that there were certain things that were brought into the equation that were never even part of our equation. We didn't have any homosexuality, bestiality, adultery, any of these types of things amongst us. But when somebody creates a law and says that you're not supposed to do those types of things, then you put it out into the atmosphere. It becomes something that's real. It becomes a part of the existence.
That's what I was saying. Exactly.
All right.
That's when I said our people in religion have actually worked in reverse for our people, where it was both, you know.
And that was ages ago. We're talking about thousands and thousands of years ago. So think about where we at right now. There's something that I read in one of your books. I'm not sure where I read it, but you were like, yo, because, you know, most of us are not that far removed from the so-called descendants of bonds people, or what people call slaves, right? One of your books that said if they told the slaves, you know, to worship a chicken or a cat, you know, then our people today wouldn't be, you know, having no chickens and cats. I mean, they wouldn't be having these white Jesuses on their necks and everything. They would have the image of a chicken or a cat because that's what they were told to do. Like, that's how messed up we are. Completely non-thinking. And there is nobody on this face of this planet that is dark complected other than the people of today that accepted Christianity or Islam for that matter. Meaning what I'm saying is that Islam and Christianity, as we know it today, was forced down the throats of Aboriginal indigenous people everywhere. Nobody openly accepted any of it. You had the pale Arabs that came in and pushed the Islam, and you had the same people, the same thing happening with Christianity. Then it was forced down to so-called slavery, and then we still accept it right now. And even though it's considered Nation of Gods and Earth More Science Temple of America, you know, all of that. I mean, I'm going to just break it down. Everybody knows I'm a moron here, but I do understand the box that we have been put in, and this is why it hasn't worked. I can call myself a moron, say I stood up on my square in court every single day, and you know, at the end of the day, it's not doing anything for the collective. Why? Because we're all in some type of box.
So that means it all has to be subtracted. It all has to go. A lot of our people don't want to let it go. A lot of our people still want to talk about Allah. They still want to talk about the nation. They still want to talk about the Moorish thing. Our people don't want to let it go. After you see that certain things are not working, after you see that things are still keeping us in the box, after you see that there's not a collective movement forward, then it's time to start being like, you know what, maybe it's time for us to come out of the box. Maybe it's time for us to be reborn again. Understand? And you know, that's what we're doing within the state of Mentel. Our robes are white. I like to use that statement. Our robes are white, meaning our slate is clean. So we don't want to, you know, we're not trying to hear none of that stuff. We're not trying to hear Allah, Jesus, none of that stuff. And, you know, we're not being disrespectful to anybody. If you want to still deal with that, that's fine. But we look at the standpoint of from where our people are now. A lot of our people still want to stay within that mind frame, and the hope is in the children in the future who are tired of these things, because the reason why they run into the rappers like Lil Wayne and Nicki Minaj and them is because they don't want to hear what it is that the older generation is talking about in way of that. They find no power in that.
True. That is so true.
But the older generation wants to keep on ignoring it. They want to still try to push it down the younger generation's throat, and they don't understand why it's a disconnect. The disconnect is because number one, you haven't woken up to the fact that and let go of the fact that what you're teaching has not worked. It's not going to work for our people. It's, you know, it might work in your space and in your little space and time, but it's not about you.
I'm thinking about all the various different groups that are breakout groups. For example, you had the breakout groups that in the Moorish Science Temple of America became the Nation of Islam, became the Nation of Gods and Earth. Nowadays, you got the breakout groups from that. You know, I think about the breakout groups from the MST of A, and then, you know, for example, it's like the Sultanates and Marrakesh, like everybody, like these young brothers are under 30, they created their whole empire. They're like, you know, damn all this, like they just created their whole new, just everything, you know what I mean, whole new Aboriginal state of mind. I think about the God Hop Confederation, like, yo, we're not going to be dealing with this shallow hip-hop no more. Moving forward, we know what we're supposed to be doing. We know what the music is supposed to be sounding like, how we're supposed to reach the people, keep it moving. You know, I'm thinking about astrologists, right? Got whole new movements being sparked out of it. Got the Academy of Cosmic Physics, things like that. Like, yo, we're not dealing with this, thank you for the platform, but we're going to move forward, and we created something new. I mean, real talk, I see these movements happening everywhere. Now I've been honored to run into Zeta Mentellect, or Mentellect. I'll get it right, you know what I mean? But everybody who's washing the slate clean, everybody's saying honors for the foundation, the information that was got, but just wiping the slate clean and be like taking what it is that they know and moving forward. I think that's real peace, and I think this is going to be really good for the next generation so they don't have to deal with all the bull crap and get stuck. Because just like you were talking about with religion, once you know about all of the errors and things like that, and that is a part of the psyche, you're going to have to deal with that. If that is something that is not even an issue, then I think it'll be much easier for the next generation.
Yeah, that's why we talk to the younger generation, because the older people, they stuck. Even when, people are using, they got to, like you, I know you get on things like language all the time. It's important, definitely. When you're using words like degree and stand on the square, that's all masonry and things like that. All of that is incorporated in the Moorish thing. It's incorporated in the 5%. It's incorporated in the Nation of Islam. All of these things still have white influence. So we have to totally detox the body from all of this. We have to start brand new, like babies again.
We gotta create a whole new language, like stuff, huh?
Everything must go.
That's what Dr. York did, kind of though. Create a whole new language, everything.
Mentellect is becoming a whole new language in a minute. The Mentelian language is coming soon.
All right, look forward to it. All right, so let me get back to these questions.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about why religion didn't teach anything, any moral, anything, basically because of the introduction of sin. And now, so why are so many black people doing negative things today? I mean, you kind of answered some of these questions. Are all like some of these questions, from the book. So why are so many black people doing negative things today?
Well, like I said, they following in the footsteps of their predecessors and the people that were here before. Black people, we have this. I hate to use that terminology, but I'm gonna use that monkey see, monkey do thing. A lot with our people, we do that, and we're not cognizant of what it is that we're following. We're not cognizant of what it is that we are presenting or what we are even saying. That's what happens when the intelligence and the mind is cut off, because our minds are cut off. A lot of our people's minds are cut off, and they're just, what they're really doing, they're just repeating or regurgitating what they heard somebody else say, because they know that they understand the need to sound intelligent and to come off as being intelligent, but they don't actually have an understanding of what they're saying. They don't have that. They don't get what it is that they're actually saying. It's not, they don't realize that this is not, this, what they're teaching is not about, it's not sustainable for a collective of people. This is good as an individual philosophy, that's fine, but we're not dealing with an individual philosophy. Intellect is a collective teaching. It's a collective knowledge.
Give thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Thanks.
Yeah, what did you say?
I said thanks.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, thanks. So are you saying that no one else outside of the black race has a common sense form of logic when it comes to right and wrong? And wouldn't this be considered a racist statement to make? I don't even like that question. You know what? I can't. I don't even know why I'm trying to read out of this daggone book. Your book is great. But, I mean, I don't even believe in racism. So we're going to have to answer that question. If you're going to answer that question, you're going to have to define what racism is, because I'm not buying into any of that. And I just really feel as though, like, for somebody else's network, some of these questions might be all right. But we're dealing with people who already are, they're on here for a reason. You got a good amount of people on this call tonight, on the chat and on the call. And, people are already there. They just got to know what to subtract. Like when you start talking about being on your dean and on your square and all these things come from, they've been kind of whitewashed. A lot of these words are code words amongst each other. When you use being on your square, you kind of know you're talking to somebody who probably had some type of foundation in Islam or more science. When you talk to somebody who's dealing with supreme mathematics, you kind of know where their train of thought is at,
Mm-hmm.
So so understanding that, and I'm going to ask my own question. So you're saying that we shouldn't be using any of these terminologies. For example, let me just be very, very specific. I don't even like the fact that you use black. What are we going to use? Because I don't want to use black, and I would prefer to use Moor, because if I have to be in this physical existence on paper, Moors are the ones that have the highest status as far as the planet is concerned on paper. And if we got to be interfacing with these people, which is how we interface with them on paper, because this is how we are doing commerce, because we're not doing commerce with just energy right now, then I would rather have the status of a Moor than black. What do you propose?
Well, by natural progression, we introducing a new terminology of the bright race. You understand? We're not dealing with the black race anymore. We didn't want to deal with it, but we had to use that because that's what our people understand. We had to be on the same page with the people. I said that Mentellect is not for the black race. It is for our people within the black race. When we refer to black people, we're referring to people who are in darkness. We're not speaking about a color or so-called complexion or nationality, any of that. We're speaking about people in darkness. In fact, our people referred to as black people because we were considered people in darkness, and we still are people in darkness, but we are actually the light, the light within the darkness. We are that state of intellect and that state of mental, which is the bright light within the darkness. So we refer to our people within the state of mental as the bright race. It has nothing to do with complexion or color. It has to do with a natural light that comes from our people.
Brother in the chat made a good point. He said, use anything you want. We're God's language is what we say, what we control. It does not control us. What I was about to say, but I wasn't able to type that fast, was, but on paper, black ain't got me nowhere. My status as a Moor has gotten me somewhere, and that's for the record, because they know the difference between people who are black and people who are Moor as far as paper is concerned. So I'm going to say that. And I feel as though, at the end of the day, if what you're saying is right and exact, Nuben, then we won't have to need no status of Moor or any type of paper, because we'll have the resources based off of our display or demonstration in everything that we say, do, think, whatever.
Exactly.
We will have control. But as of right now, let's be practical. Let's have some common sense. People got to eat.
Exactly.
You have to engage in commerce. So if you're engaging in commerce, most likely, you probably pay some Federal Reserve notes to have the state of mental up. You probably have, I don't want to get into this, but real talk. We say a lot of these types of things, but I mean, for the record, I'm not underneath their jurisdiction because I'm not receiving any type of benefits from them on paper or anything. I cut that out within the past month, my last ties and stuff like that. Like, I'm done. Mm-hmm. So, I could actually say that and actually stand on my square, and say that I don't believe that came from anything whitewashed when I understand mathematics, 360 degrees. I get it. Mm-hmm. And at 360 degrees, I'm only saying that, and I only know that because I was taught the English language.
Mm-hmm.
But if I can manifest that without having to use that language, that would be great, but we're not there right now. So I would like to know, I'm putting this book away, I would like to know what are the steps to be able to get to what it is that you're talking about, the state of intellect.
Throw everything out the window and start over.
How do you do that and eat?
Well, whenever you have people, see, this is something I never understood, or should I'm going to not use the word understood. this is something I never understood. When you have a lot of people who are on the same page, that's money and that's power. Okay? When you have if you have a bunch of people, you understand, you could always come up with ideas to make money. I never understood how you had organizations, football organizations, where they weren't producing anything. The only thing people I saw producing anything, at one point in time was the old nation of Islam under the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and where they had the stores and the businesses and whatnot. Now, true, they were doing commerce within the United States and all that. That's all well and fine, but they were producing businesses. They were producing schools and things like that to educate their children, far more than anybody who supposedly has all this status and things were doing. They were doing way more. So the fact that they were doing this, the fact that they were on the same page together, it makes you take a look at them and say, hey, you know what? These people came with a collective idea or a collective way of thinking that moved them forward. So once, there should never be a time where there's a group of people, a collective of people, not able to feed themselves. That's ridiculous.
I agree.
It happens when people are not on the same page. Just myself alone, and me and two brothers, we were able to produce a water business and other things of that I explained to you behind the scene that we were able to work on, just us three. So you imagine a group or a collective of people who are in cooperation with one another. There's no limit to that if they're truly in cooperation and working as a unit.
But all of that working in a unit to establish all those businesses that I can attest to, because I've seen it with my own eyes. An excellent job, I must say. I'm very inspired because I see people talking about the alkaline water and things like that. You managed to produce alkaline waters, alkaline teas, amongst other things, It's popping, and people need to know about that. Abundance Network definitely going to get into helping to distribute that. But what I'm saying is that's still underneath somebody else's paradigm. When we going to wipe clean their paradigm and say this is our paradigm?
When all of us come together and it's enough of us to harness that power and energy to do that. See, a lot of our people say they want things to change, but they really don't want things to change because they don't want to start with the real change, which is themselves. The only reason the white man is in power is because we gave up power to him in exchange for his philosophies and his ways of thinking. Now you look at our people now.
Mm-hmm.
So I am I say this, when we had Amen, and we acknowledge Amen as the true and living supreme being and the power and the God and that spiritual connection to our higher self, we acknowledge that. We sat on thrones. We had the world in our hands. And the white man sat in caves along with the Asians and everybody else. Amen was God everywhere. Then something happened. We accepted the philosophies as we allowed them to come in. We accepted their philosophies. We accepted their religion and all that metaphysics and all that nonsense. We accepted all of that. Next thing you know, look at us now. Now they picked up Amen and they ran with it. Now you look at the United States. That tells you something. You look at Freemasonry. That tells you something. They worship Amen. They do not worship Baphomet. They do not worship Lucifer. They do not worship any Satan. That's a lie.
Excellent. Well, I really will that you use these Mondays to start giving people real direction via real questions and answer sessions, and give people some type of direction, especially with the businesses that you're doing, where they can get a real grip on how to move forward. Like, not a whole lot of talking. It's funny, when I built with Farrakhan this weekend, and that was brought to the table about, it's a whole bunch of talk. He came back and he said, in the beginning was the word. Oh, man, I thought I was going to bag up. I mean, I just couldn't do it. I can't just laugh in the man's face, but it was kind of like, in the beginning was the word. And so the word is very important and it's very powerful, and we're just going to have to keep talking until... I'm really tired of that. I'm really, really tired of that. I really believe action is way more powerful. I mean, I understand that thoughts create forms and words are very powerful. However, the actions are that which brings the life.
Well, my thing is this. Our people want action and they want change, but what are you willing to sacrifice? See, because you can talk about the white man all day and him being the devil and all this other nonsense, but at the end of the day, he was willing to sacrifice to take this thing called America. He was willing to sacrifice his own people, the lives of our people, the Indians, everything. He was willing to sacrifice and die for this. You really think that because of some contracts and things like that, he's going to hand over anything after all of that? He's not, that's a negative.
So who are going to be these people that are going to be able to sacrifice? I mean, obviously it's not the entire so-called black race.
I already know that. They're going to be sacrificed anyway. They're going to be sacrificed in the greater scheme of things. The majority of the black race. Our people ain't going to be here because the black. What you see right now with the black man killing each other in the hoods and the negative and the black woman, aborting their children, things of that nature. You're actually seeing a purging of the black race. You're seeing a dying off of the black race because whenever there's something in motion, whenever there's things like this in motion, whether it's in a good way or a bad way, there's a shedding of uselessness. There's a shedding of useless people because there's a lot of useless people in the black race. And just like when you're working out, you shedding body fat in order to bring about a stronger, leaner body, which is what the state of mental is going to be coming out of the black race, a stronger, leaner body without all of the unnecessary jargon and talk and code words and nonsense. It's going to be about real people that can produce real things as a collective. That's where this thing is going. For those people who are not on board with that, who want to keep dropping the science and the knowledge, whatever.
All right. So what's going to happen to the people who do not follow through with what it is that you are describing?
A lot of our people are, you know what, it's like the Israelites say, and that's one thing they write about. They are exactly right about that. They say 2/3 of our people are going to die. You understand? And the white man is the instrument of destruction for the Most High. I definitely acknowledge that to be the truth, that he serves a purpose here, that he's going to be the pig that's going to clear off the filth on the planet, and 2/3 of the filth is our people.
Say that again. He is going to be the what?
He's going to be the pig. He is going to be the pig that's going to devour the filth on the planet, and 2/3 of that filth is going to be our people, along with the rest of the human race who is filth. He's going to be the pig that devours it. In the name of the Supreme Most High being Amen, as being directed by him.
Why do you keep saying Amen? Where are you getting that from?
Amen is.
There was a disconnect. What did you say?
Amen is. He lives. This is all his will. And I'm not trying to be spooky or religious or anything. This is real. There's a cleansing going on the planet. There is a cleansing, refurbishing, a new consciousness, a new essence coming on the planet. So the old has to leave. Has to be redirected. A lot of these people are in the way. A lot of our own people are in the way. A lot of our people are in the way of the evolution. A lot
of our people seem to think just because we have this complexion and we have melanin content and things like that, that we're gods. What do you say to that? That are all black people gods?
No.
How do we know that to be a fact?
Because they've accepted the mentality. Once you've fallen below the idea or the ultra standing, I'm going to say, the ultra standing of the need for collective, once you no longer have an understanding, overstanding, or ultra standing of that, once you are still standing on this whole individuality thing, which is falling below on a lower mental state, you no longer acknowledge the need to be part of the body again as one who operates within the body, then you are no longer of that God body. You are of the filth now.
So what about the title God, or what about the title, what about the concept of the devil? What say you about that?
Well, the devil operates for God. You know, we don't use that terminology. We're just using the terminology because people understand it. But we make it even, the art of the devil, or what you refer to as the evil, because that's all that really is, the evil, or people that have lived within this realm. What we mean by that is that they serve a purpose. The human race is the physical manifestation of the evil, or those who have lived, or those who were created. That is your human race, starting from your East Indian or your real Asiatic black men down to your white race. So they exist as that artificial creation on the planet, that human race, to be the ones who destroy or get rid of or be merchants of death, or the supreme being, or that God race. They serve a purpose.
Let me make this clear. So who is the real Asiatic black race?
The East Indians.
And their purpose is?
Their purpose is to be servants of the Most High and merchants of death.
And how does that relate to who you are, or in the people who you are?
How it relates is those people who are above, who travel on the mental state, or who vibrate on the mental level, because as I explained to you, there's two different realms. There's the low mental, mental, mental state, which a lot of our people vibrate on, and then there's the higher mental state, which our people who are of the Amun race vibrate on. If you vibrate below a certain density or below a certain mental level, then you are within that realm of being destroyed, or within that realm of destruction. You carry that same mindset as those people who are of the human race, who are no longer of the Amun race. Because when you talk about God and the devil, you're talking about species of people, really.
Mm-hmm.
The God race is the Amun race. The human race is the ones who have lived or who was created. Because if you look at the word devil backwards, you see the word live. Okay? And you can only live if you were created, if you were given life. I say that the Amun race was not created. We don't have a creation point. This is something I tried to explain to the Nation of Islam when I told them that we are eternal people, not original people. Because if you have an origin, that means you have a start date, which is why the white man uses the number 6, because according to number 6, that was the date of creation of man. After 6 days, according to the story in the Bible, or the 6,000 years. That's why they use the number 6. 3 squared 6.
Apologize for the silence. Just thinking.
I know. For all essential purposes, if our people want to know, Amen is God. There is no Allah. There is no Jesus. There is no Jehovah. It is not the same person. These were gods that were created by the human race to keep our people in the lesser mysteries and keep them disconnected. And it works because our people are disconnected.
This is why people are, if you're saying that there's no God, there's no devil, there's no Jesus, then these people are going to need some type of replacement unless they're taught that they don't need a replacement, and they're going to be looking for something to pray to for help.
Amen, for all essential purposes, because all they understand, for our people who understand God, is that Amen is God. Amen is the supreme. Amen is a physical man who walks in physical form, who travels and moves through dimensions and through time boundlessly, and takes on not human, but physical form.
how are you really going to be able to break that down to people who have been so conditioned that it's just, it just seems like a very high, serious task for you.
Oh, yeah, I know. We've gotten people who were in the metaphysics thing who came and asked questions at our class and got up and walked out because they didn't like when I told them that water is artificial, that it's not real. When we were teaching Mentellect, when I started teaching Mentellect, they didn't like that I said that, and I went and explained it to them, and they didn't have no answers. They walked out. So we get a lot of that when you bring forth things that people have not, come in contact with, and I told them this is future thought. This is future knowledge. So if I'm giving that to you, I'm scaring about 35 to 37 years of it right now, and I'm starting off slow. I say that, you have to, in order for you, if you truly want our people to move forward into who we are and truly take our rightful place, then you have to sacrifice by subtraction of everything. You have to come naked. Metaphorically. I don't mean like take all your clothes, but in a way, you have to come naked in order to learn again. And yes, because what will happen is it'll start something in you of knowing. You no longer have to believe again. You don't have to be forced to believe anything.
All right, we're going to take a break, and we're going to come back, and I want you to tell people about the upcoming conference that you have.
Okay.
That's going on. I want to remind everybody that you're listening to the State of Mental Mondays, all right? Just give you some background information. Mentellect is not a personal philosophy, doctrine, religion, ancient or modern cult teaching. It is not remixed knowledge from the past with the new name. A lot of y'all are going to say that, this brother is a reject from the Nation of Islam or the Nuwabian or something like that. He's simply dealing with the reality of advanced new knowledge from on high, which we acknowledge as spiritual intelligence from the supreme intellectual being, Amen. What he's saying is in his new communication with women and men that are mentally equipped to receive this advanced new spiritual knowledge, which is meant to expand and empower our minds and bodies towards greater accomplishments. Saying as intellectuals, they are constantly perfecting the knowledge of Mentellect in their lives, which means that they live, think, and govern themselves as the Most High Supreme God, Amen, would in physical form. And that they have a clear and complete understanding of the fact that many of our people are not mentally equipped or physically ready for these new revelations and realizations that are meant to guide our people into the future, which is why they are still stuck in the past teachings of outdated books, religions, and man-made philosophies. He's saying that people have falsely been led to believe and accepted that there is nothing that is mentally, physically, or intellectually new under the sun, which has now rendered them mentally dead to the supreme intelligence of the Most High God, Amen's true knowledge. Mentellect is future knowledge and higher thought for new people that will evolve out of the old so-called black race. They refer to these new people with the higher intellect of the living creator, Amen, that are coming together in this day and time as the 1% formation out of the 99% of those who are mentally dead or spiritually unaware. They also refer to those 1% as the intellectual messengers of Amen, and that this will be the true race of supermen and superwomen, aka supermental beings, to come. So these will be the truly elect ones, 144,000. And as I said, we're going to take a break. We're going to build on a conference that you have, and we're going to get into those numbers, 144,000. Next guy hot sound is coming from the MC Kill. Listen, this is She. All right. We're back with State of Mental Mondays. I'm doing the honors of bringing this brother's new season in by hosting this show. It's in the form of question and answers straight from the mind. Sometimes we're going to use one of his books to guide us. However, he's dealing on the state of intellect, and he has an upcoming conference this month. So please tell the people about that.
Okay, we're doing conference concerning money, everybody's favorite topic, and that's universal because everybody does need it, especially our people right now. The conference is called "What is the Real Secret to Success for Rich, for Wealthy and Powerful White People?" What is the real secret to success for wealthy and powerful white people? And it basically, the conference is going to go into how they actually achieve wealth and power, what it is that black people don't know that they do, and how we can take that, which is really our true knowledge that we've been out of tune with, and use it to work for us, to put us back in power financially first, and everything else in between afterwards. And, what the difference is between millionaires and billionaires, or why they introduced the billionaire, the title of billionaire into this realm at this day, in this day and time. So it's going to cover a lot of things about money and financial situation and how we can better our financial and give a real solution to that problem. And I'm going to make a affirmation there, which is that for those people who come along with what we're going to do and the plans that we're making, that we're going to make everyone within that conference as a collective millionaires within 5 years.
Excellent. Wow, that's serious. Where is this taking place?
It's going to be taking place at the Restoration Plaza at 1368 Fulton Street in Brooklyn, New York. It's going to be on Sunday, October 23rd, on the 3rd floor in the gallery room. It's posted up on my Facebook page, the Intellectual Nuben Menkares. It's posted up there. We have the flyers all around different places in the Bedford-Stuyvesant area. But I'll repost it again, and the sister, she's going to be talking about it, and I thank you for that. I thank you for giving me this opportunity to come on the show and, speak on that. Because I want everyone to know that, this is not about just, dropping knowledge and just talking and what. We had enough talking. We had enough science. We had enough people talking holes in our head and, all that other stuff. We need to build structures. We need to be builders because we are, by nature, builders. Amen does not exist where there is no knowledge, where there is no structure. Amen does not exist. So for all these people that say they have all this higher knowledge, if you're not building structures, if you're not building anything, if you're still running to the white man begging, if you're not willing to dig into the ground and put something up physically for our children, then all that stuff you're talking about, all that doctrine don't matter.
I want people to not get misconstrued, too. Are you saying Amen as in A-M-E-N, what we read about in the Meta Netta? What's the difference?
Same person, but what the problem is that our people got under misconception that Amen is an Egyptian creation or an Egyptian god or something like that. And it's actually not. Amen is a race of beings. Amen just is same as saying human. Amen is a race of beings that walk the planet Earth, and they came to not just the ancient Kemites or the Nubians, but they came to the Nubians, the Sumerians, to the Dogons and Mali, who referred to them as Amma. They came to the Olmecs or the Mende people who acknowledged Amen. So Amen came to the also to the ones who built the pyramids in Mexico and things like that. So and he is acknowledged in America, in the United States, by the obelisk that's built in Washington and Vatican City in Rome, and in London, England, where you see the eye of the needle, the obelisk. That is the symbol or the edifice built to the Amen, because they acknowledge Amen as the true and living God. And that's something our people don't understand. They don't have an understanding of that. We were in tune with the higher power. He walked amongst us. We were the first people to have connection with him. You understand? As Amen. prior to that time, all those other names that our people were using, those people were out of tune. Amen comes, God truly comes, the true Most High being comes as a guide to the people first and foremost to show them how to move forward and to evolve. And he shows them how to build structures and how to build governments and things like that. This is why it says in the book of Revelations that God's kingdom or his government will come on the planet to replace this old one. And he will have to put the natural people or his people who came in physical form or as a physical manifestation of him in charge again. And that is our people, the 144,000.
So anyone on that frequency with that state of mind or state of mental lack, as in the spirit of as above, so below, should be directly representing that with everything that they are doing. So I think with that said, on October 23rd, that's the date, right?
Yes.
1368 Fulton Street, Brooklyn, New York. What was the time?
3 p.m. starts.
3 p.m. until when?
Till 7.
All right, excellent. Is that going to be recorded?
Yes, it will.
So people are going to have access to that, like via Ustream or something?
Yeah, we're still working out the venue, but it should be on. We should be putting it on Ustream because we have actually a Ustream radio show as well. But we're revamping that right now, so it's it's going to be for sale, but also it's going to be bits and pieces of it are going to be on YouTube.
Excellent. All right, so be looking for those links on the Abundance Network. And the Abundance Network also has a promoter, so if you're a part of the Abundance Network, that's all you're going to be seeing on the Abundance Child pages and anything that's affiliated with that. You know, if you're a part of the Abundance Network, like Stop Playing Free Economy, God Hop, Confederation Academy, Cosmic Physics, Philly Word Live, Philly Word Green, all of those types of things, you, by virtue of being part of that cooperative and sharing resources with all of the other people with the same state of mind, you get free promotions and things like that. So take advantage. Hit me up if you're interested in having a show on this network. It's free. You pick your date, you pick your time, you keep it moving, and vicariously we promote each other and everything. We make finance with each other, and that's all it is. We're just using our resources to build the economy. So give thanks for everybody tuning in tonight. I want to build more on the 144,000 before we close. It's 15 minutes before the hour, and I think that's enough time to start building on that number, 144,000. And I want everybody to be able to clear their minds of what they ever thought the 144,000 was, and get an idea of what this brother is saying as far as that's concerned. So if you could build on that, Brother Nuben, I appreciate your love it.
Okay. The first person to bring us in contact with knowledge as a degree or a number, we counted through the Honorable Elijah Muhammad with 360 degrees of knowledge. Then we got a second dose of it, or the doubling of that knowledge, as in 720 degrees of knowledge from Dr. Malachi Z. York, who came with the overstanding of 720. Prior to that time, we didn't think that it was possible to have 360 degrees doubled in that mind frame of coming out with 720, but that was an extension of knowledge. So now, as we are in a state of continuation, that 144,000 people that are talked about in the book of Revelation would have double that knowledge, which is 720 times 2, which is 1,440 degrees of knowledge, which would be those people who would have ultra standing or would be on a higher knowledge than that which Dr. York and the previous nations brought before that. This is an evolution of the people who are coming into a linear knowledge that is more in the eternal state of that is going beyond this dimension here into a higher dimension.
Excellent.
So it's speaking of a higher knowledge that these people will acquire, and mentellect is the open door to that higher knowledge, because mentellect is for the elect. It is for those men and women of the elect.
So that's where you're getting the number 144,000 from?
Yeah, I mean, it was actually meant to. We were actually meant to come in contact with that number in this day and time. Like you said, the brother was right. Mathematics, and just as you said as well, that mathematics, you can't get away from mathematics. It adds up to something. It does sum up to something. So, by the mere fact that the person who acquired that vision to write the book of Revelation, we talk about that book of John and whatnot, is also sums up to that title of John in Freemasonry.
St. John, right. Our, what do they be calling it? Awareness.
Brother John or whatever, it sums up to that John in the book of Revelation. So when they talk about that, it's actually talking about a 13th group, or one who would be of a new people that would come out of the children of Israel. Because I tell the Israelites all the time that those people, when you refer to them as the children of Israel, they're not Israelites. They are the children of Israel, not Israel. Israel is no more. That book is futuristic. Understand? If black people are going to be dealing with the Bible, all they should be worried about is the book of Revelation, because we are in that time. Everything else that's prior to that time don't matter, because you weren't there. So it's not your space, it's not your area. You should be just dealing with the area. Just like I tell my people all the time, I say, don't worry about what everybody else thought prior to the millennium. If you're 40 years old and down, then that's not your area. You're not supposed to be teaching or talking about what they were doing in the 60s, because that was before your time. Intellect is of our time, because our time is now, and our time is next.
Right, I'm feeling that. Let me give out this date one more again. All right, it's October 23rd at 1368 Fulton Street in so-called Brooklyn, New York at 3 p.m. Remember, if you can make it, it will be on YouTube. The brother also has a Ustream channel. We're going to make sure that all his information is on Blog Talk. Is on the Blog Talk channel. And I'm going to be posting his page soon. He'll have a fan page up and everything as well, as sponsored by the Abundance Network. Again, these are some of the things that come along with having the Abundance Networks. You get, site, you get fan pages, because right now Facebook is a lot where we're doing it. But what we are doing with the Abundance Network by consolidating our efforts is making sure that we drive people off of this Fed book, all right? Like, we don't need to be staying on they stuff all the time. So by driving them off the Fed book, we drive them to our resources where people can do exchanges and commerce and things like that for things that we created out of our own mind, whether it's workbooks, whether it's classes, whether it's, some type of product, good, or service. And then from that, we have the finance where we can actually go off of line and start building in the actual physical, so that we can have real business, like real life with our real hands on our own land and so forth. All right, so this is how it starts. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. If you have any other further information, you got 10 minutes left in the hour, Brother Nubin, so we can close out.
Okay, you can go to the SOM.info. That's the SOMTHE, SOM.info, if you want to read the About Us section, which is what the sister was reading from. We will be putting our books up there. We will be putting, all the information from our conferences and things like that up. So, just go check us out.
All right, http://thesom.info. I already put that in the chat for anybody. Right now, the About section is up. So, yeah, it's very thorough. You can get a better understanding. If you're interested in building or adding on to the build, every Monday from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we'll be right here with the State of Intellect. We're going to go ahead and close out for the night. I want to thank everybody and give honors for spending your time with the Abundance Network. I appreciate love you. All right. So we're going to close out with some more God Hop music. Anybody got any suggestions? Right now I got some Ciroc, some Star, some Khalik, Scientific. Matter of fact, I'm going to play some Khalik. He got this track. It's called Bring Peace. And I need y'all to check that out.